right, we're going to go ahead and get started. Is Pastor McNary on the phone? If he is not, Harvey, you want to lead us in prayer? If not, I will. Heavenly Father, thank you once again for bringing us together for the good of the Sandtown community. Bless all of those who are participating with us today. Allow us to share good ideas and concerns and praises and all that we need for the good of our community. It is in Jesus' name that we pray. Amen. All righty. Well, welcome again, everybody. Tell me if there's a police or a fire representative on the line.
Sergeant Neesmith present.
Oh, wonderful. Well, you can get started.
Oh, okay. So, good evening, everyone. Sergeant Neesmith, South Florida Police Department. I've been going over the stats for the area, and overall, you guys are looking real good. Compared to last year, the numbers are down tremendously. So, keep up the great work. Only one area of concern I see is in larceny from vehicles, the area. Though it's still down from last year, looking at these stats just in last week alone, you guys' area is almost half of our reports of larceny from vehicle. So I would just want to remind everyone to just stay vigilant and aware of not leaving items in their car, not leaving things visible. Don't leave it, don't, how can I put this? Don't give off the appearance of something being valuable left in the car, like covering something up with a jacket or a cover or anything like that, because perps are still out here, and even though they don't know what's in the car, they will take that risk of busting your window just to see what's in that car, even if there's nothing. To them, the risk sometimes is greater than reward for them. But other than that, as far as stats and crime, you guys are looking great. Just some upcoming events on next week, Tuesday. We have our 9/11 Beyond the Call of Duty event at the Southwest Art Center. That's going to be going on from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Additional event we got coming up on September 19th. We're going to be teaming up with code enforcement for a senior event at 4100 Danforth Road at QLS. And last but certainly not least, traffic. We have our traffic unit beefing up their details in the area. I know between these 18-wheelers and illegally parked vehicles and things of that nature, we have our traffic unit. They're beefing up and looking into those see-click fix to hit those hot areas, to know where to set up and post up to catch those offenders and cite those in violation. So that's all I have. I'll leave the floor open for any questions.
Do we have any questions this evening? If you do, feel free to ask. All righty. Well, great. Thank you, Corporal. Appreciate you attending. Is there anyone from the fire department on? All righty. We will move on. Ms. Warren, I think I saw you on. You're up next.
Good evening, everyone. Hold on one second. I'm going to drop a link in the chat.
I'm here.
Hold on one second. Okay, this is what I'm looking to see. Okay. We are on the heels. Actually, first off, happy back to school. This has been, I'm sorry, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. This has been an exciting time as we welcome our students back in through our buildings. We are right now working through a couple of ongoing enrollment. Westlake sits at about 2,000 children. We have been very diligent this year. Westlake has been very diligent in making sure that the students who attend Westlake are zoned to the school. Tonight, we just had a event for back to school around colleges. So just a lot of great things. Sandtown Middle School, A. Philip Randolph. The thought that is on everyone's mind tonight is out of Barrow County. Of course, there was a school shooting that happened about 80 miles up the road. And I've been talking to parents all day about just some of the safety things that we have in Fulton County schools. I just put a link in the chat. Mr. Davis, will you mind sharing? I can't share from my computer, but if you click on it and share, for the last 2 years, we invested in things that all staff members wear around their necks, which are alarms that go to, it's called Centengics. It's the same thing they had in Barrow County, and many districts across the metro area have it. It's where if there is an emergency, a staff member can push it and it will immediately go to our school police officers. One of the things that, we can all say is that for all of our high schools down here, we have at least one full-time police officer, and we have CSAs, which are campus security associates. And so we feel really good about that. But some of the other things that we've done in the last year, 2 years, is every door has key card access. So we're working to make sure that before there was, you had to have a key or somebody had to let you in, key door access. We've also done in all of our elementary schools, the film where we can see out, but people can't see in. For any of those who have been into our technology center, you know that we have cameras, state-of-the-art cameras in all of our schools. And that helps us as we identify people. We have flock cameras. So when you come onto our site, onto our campuses, we run your license plate if you're a sex offender or if you have a warrant. We have drug dogs this year. One of the exciting things that we did last year was that we did exit door alarms. So you're in a school that like Westlake that has like 40 outside doors. It's impossible for you to have an armed guard at each door. And so what we have is that every time all of our doors are triggered, and if someone tries to open a door, an alarm goes off and it's very loud and it can't be shut off until someone goes and investigates. But I wanted to talk a little bit about that because, even as we're talking about all of these safety cameras and more police officers and crisis go and how we handle threats, as we saw from the example yesterday in Barrow County, where a young man got a weapon from his father, I just want to implore parents to make sure their weapons are locked up. The kids do not have access to it. More and more what we're seeing is that if a kid gets access to a weapon, 9 times out of 10, they're getting it, if not from the home, they're getting it from someone very close to them. As we go through, I just had a conversation with a parent today in Barrow County. The young man who committed the murders yesterday had actually called in a school threat the previous year, and the FBI had gotten involved. One of the things that we had to do a couple of years ago was strengthen our code of conduct. And so you'll hear about situations, let's say you bring a weapon to one of our schools, and I've had people call me to say, what happens when that occurs? We've had to tighten our code of conduct. So all kids go through due process. We take them through that. But if you're a tier 4, that's a weapon, that's a group fight, very serious infractions, we automatically recommend being expelled from our system to protect other kids. So as we go through and, we're in prayers for all of the 4 people who lost their lives and the 9 people who were shot, we continue to invest in our police officers and our safety and security. But our strongest weapon is if you see something, say something. We have a share tip line on our Fulton County website. It's anonymous. You can put it in there, anything that you need. But also parents, look in your kids' backpacks. Look in them. Do not go a day not knowing what's in their car, who they're hanging out with. These are some of the things that when those situations happen, it's simply as simple as looking in their backpack, making sure they don't have a weapon, and talking to them well before they get to that. I'm going to pause because that's a lot and that's heavy. And I'm sure there are some questions around safety and security.
Does anyone have any questions?
I think Ms. Steed does. She said the news reported that Synergex, I can't say the word, helped tremendously at the Winder High School yesterday for teachers to initiate an alarm. How it works is that it's around their neck, and if a teacher hits the alarm, or anybody, it can be a custodian, it's a principal, it's a CSA, it's a police officer, anybody hits it, you hit it twice, it automatically goes to our law enforcement. Automatically. So it does help tremendously. On the flip side of that, sometimes people can hit it mistakenly. And so what the superintendent has done is that if someone hits it mistakenly in the building, he takes them back through training, because you should only hit that alarm when it is a true emergency. Otherwise, it's okay, Shay. Otherwise, people get numb to the noise and just think it's another alarm. But it is, and a lot of school districts across Georgia have it. But that's just one of our layers. But I'll pause. I think there's probably some additional questions. This year, we opened up a new high school in downtown College Park, entitled Promise Career Institute. It's a beautiful building. It's in downtown College Park. Any kid in South Fulton can attend it. Kids who go there receive 2 years of getting their high school diploma, and the next 2 years are focused on them getting 2 associate degrees. So we've spent this year making sure that school is up and running. Right now, we are preparing for some college tours that are happening at Westlake High School at the end of the month. And we just got off of curriculum night earlier this week. I know there has probably been chatter in the community. There was a football game against Mays High School, and there were some incidences that occurred. And one of the things that we have always kind of held to, not held to, but started this year, is that if you're not a student at Westlake or the opposing school, we have closed our football games to you. What we find, especially the situation with the game at Mays, was that it took us, the kids who were causing the trouble, they weren't Westlake High School students, and they weren't even Fulton County students. And it took us a long time. They were just there at a game, wanting to hang out, on social media, wanting to fight. And so one of the things that we've had to do is to limit it. And we've had 3-4 games since that game. We played Westlake versus Langston, and there was no instances, but we hold hard to that fact that if you're not a student at one of the 2 schools playing, you can't be there unless you have a parent. And that has cut down tremendously on some of the social media beefs that have happened, and kids come to games to fight. If there's anything that people need, people can send me an email. Mr. Davis, I will put it in the chat. My community meeting is next Monday at Bear Creek Middle School. I have them monthly on the 3rd, usually the 3rd Monday of the month. We have our Fulton County board meeting starting, work session starting next Tuesday, and our board meeting the following Thursday. As of right now, we are in a good place, lots of teaching and learning going on, and we're just looking to continue to build partnerships with our parents. So if you need me, please let me know.
Thank you, Ms. Warren. Thank you very much. And I hope you continue to have a successful school year. Are there any other questions for Ms. Warren?
One question I had is the issue when people are not honoring the fact that a school bus is there. Does our system catch those people?
Yes. So one of the things, and it's so interesting you just said that, because we will have school buses stopped to get kids, and people will go around them, fly right through the zone. The cameras are helping because it deters them, but we also take pictures. So our buses are equipped with cameras all around them. And so once people do that, it goes to our school police and they ticket them. that is probably many of the cases that we see on the bus are the parents attempting to get on the bus because they want to address something, or adults who are driving and don't want to yield for the bus. But it only takes a second. And, you know, if you're stopped on a busy street like Campbellton and you have a kid going left or a kid going right, somebody going around the bus to get somewhere, just puts our kids in so much harm. So we do have some things in place for that. But I try to tell parents, just be patient, just be patient. Nothing's worse, worth hurting a kid to try to get somewhere.
Ms. Warren, the 2,000 students that are at Westlake, is that indicative of the community growing, or have you all, are they, you know, kids from other districts, or what? Do you know yet?
So it's many of our, so I will say this, in the next month or so, actually this month, we're going to do residency verification for 9th and 10th graders. Before school even started, we were at 2,200. And through us investigating, our investigators, verifying residences, we started the year even lower, right? We do think that there is a lot of people moving into the zone, but what we also see with the numbers are third-party leases. So third-party leases are when you say, I'm renting out a room in my house for my kid to go to this school. You have to go where you pay your property taxes. And so part of this verification is us going through and making sure that those third-party leases, number one, are actually valid. So I would guess probably we probably would maybe 5 to 10% after this verification finding additional kids who are not supposed to be at the school. But I will say this, the school has done an excellent job in making sure that we hold tight to the attendance lines at Westlake. And starting this year, August 1st, you know, I talked about this all last year when I came to the meetings, is that we have changed the process on how kids get to other schools they're not zoned for. So previously it was based on program. Well, when you rezone people out of a school, and I'll just use Westlake because that's in our area, when you rezone 500-600 kids out of a school, it's no longer fair for you then to say, well, let these other kids in the school who don't live over here. So now the policy, and I'll put the policy in the link, it is JBCD, and that's just some letters. And it's basically all school choice is based on capacity. Right now, Westlake's at capacity. And so when people try to apply to their magnet program for the upcoming year, unless Westlake goes down in students, there will be a limited number of spots. But what that does is keeps us honest about how many kids are in the school, and we keep our efforts strong. So to answer your question, there are some third-party leases we have questions about. But we have been able to catch a lot of situations of people, you know, from Clayton, Douglas, all kinds of counties, just by simply, you know, being diligent in the paperwork that we receive from parents or would-be enrollees.
Great, great. I gather that is just an ongoing thing all the time, to do all of that, to do those verifications. Thank you so much. Again, are there any other questions for Mrs. Warren? Thank you so much. Now we will have Dr. Walker, and it looks like James Ergel, and is there Brad Noble here to talk about, present to us an updated version of the storage facility that they presented a couple of months ago to the community. So
Yes,
go
yes,
right
ma'am.
ahead. Go right ahead.
David White is here as
Okay.
well to assist Dr. Walker.
David, do you want to share give them permission so you can share your screen?
James is going to do the sharing for us.
Very good then. Okay, so I can take mine down. Let's see. Do we have it up?
Yes.
I see it.
Okay, very good. Can everyone see it?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, first of all, before I present, I am Dr. Kenneth Augustus Walker, the consultant for this project. I want to thank Ms. Francesca for starting off by
offering thoughts and prayers towards the students and the teachers at Appalachia there in Barrow County. That could have been any school on any day in America. So I just appreciate you guys taking time out to remember them, because no one sends your child to school in the morning thinking that that could happen. So let's continue to keep them in our prayers. Okay, this is a special request for a special use permit and concurrent variance. What we have done since the last meeting a couple months ago, we have redesigned this entire project. We've added some different facets and features that we think you're going to enjoy. There is not a facility in the state of Georgia that would even look like this. We've met a lot of the demands based on conversations. So you'll get to see that throughout the presentation. I will make the presentation, but all the questions will be directed to our engineers, Mr. White and Mr. Ergel, as well as the owner of the project, Mr. Noble. Can we go to the next slide, please? Okay, so this is mixed zoning use District 2, and it fits into the 2021 comprehensive plan character area, which is live, work situation. Next slide, please. Now, this shows you the storage was 3-story with the basement. That's about 13,750 square feet. And that goes at 55,000 square feet gross. And you can see the layout here. There's existing learning center over to the left of the proposed facility. Next screen. Okay, this actually should be 3-mile radius. So this is a 3-mile radius, which shows public storage, and it shows 2 down at the bottom. So if you look here, this is right in the heart of the Sandtown Enon Forest area, coming back up here towards the Village Home Park. So you can see what's available currently in a 3-mile radius, and we're going to show how the population increase is impacting our request to want to do this. Okay, next slide.
Dr. Walker, before you finish, can I encourage everybody to make sure that their computer is on mute? Because we hear some background noise from somebody. Thank you.
And
Thank you,
Dr.
Ms.
Walker,
Go right ahead.
Dr. Walker, could I jump in real quick on that last slide?
Uh-huh.
I remember from the last meeting, there was questions about potentially other storage facilities being nearby that could serve the community. And so this slide was added specifically to show that that was not the case. There's a huge gap in the market where nobody can serve the constituents and the residents here. And while some people may not need storage, there's a lot of other people that really do need that service, and there's nothing here for them. And so this slide is there to show that we're filling a need, for the community. Even though not everybody needs it, there are still a lot of people that really need this, even for a short term when they're moving in and out. It makes mobility for everyone so much easier when they have a place that they can store stuff for a short period of time. So this really is going to help with mobility for all of the constituents in the area.
Thank you, Mr. White. Next slide. Okay, so these are the new developments that we were able to glean from research. Woodbury Park Apartments, 300 units. The Anthem at Riverside, 132 senior living units. Heron Mill Apartments, 245 and 200, with the phase 2 there on Heron. Stonewall Station by Liberty Communities, 90 single family homes. Sandtown, 55. DRB Homes Camp Creek Village, 146 single family homes. Parkview Estates Phase 3, Cascades by Rockland Homes, 150 townhomes, and Broad Creek by Pulte Homes, 70 single family homes. So these new developments will necessitate somewhere they're going to need to store. Okay, next slide. Now, the demographics within that 3-mile radius, you can see these demographics, 51,679 on the population. 5-year annual population growth, 8.44%, which means a lot of growth is coming to this particular area. And of course, we show you, I'm not going to read each one. You see the median household income is $85,916. So when you look at all of this, what's happening, development in the subjects, 84,000, but the remaining demand There's a demand based on the demographic and supply of additional 277,753, which we would love to fill that particular void. Okay, now if you look over to my left, you'll see, to our knowledge, there's no new storage development going within a 3-mile radius of the subject site. And that's why we're asking to bring this to this area. Next slide. Okay, and this would be the address, 5990 Alpha Leaf Lane, Atlanta 30331. And you can see the residential sites development. 12 sites are being planned. 2 are currently under construction, and 8 will be completed within an 8-month period, within a 12-month period. So within 1 year, you will have the capacity and the demand and the need will be there because of the existing development and under construction, and then what's coming within a 12-month period. Okay, the median home value in this particular demographic is $402,850. That's a amazing medium home value. Next slide. Here, you just see the 3-mile radius. Mr. White, you want to speak to this with this 3-mile radius with the multi-storage requires special use permit?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Dr. Walker. In the meeting a few months ago, there were a number of questions about, well, maybe the facility could be relocated around the corner to another parcel, or there's other parcels where it could be developed. There's actually no other parcels where storage could be developed without a special use permit. So even though there's 3 zoning districts where it's an allowed use, the special use permit is necessary just to make sure that everything is aesthetically pleasing and is helping the community. And so we put this map in there so that you could see there's very few properties or zoning districts around, even though there are many in the whole city. There's not much in this area. The teal blue colored is mixed development, and so that would allow storage as a special use permit. But this particular property is the only one that Mr. Noble could find that was for sale and not already developed. So it is true there is other zoning, but we were unable to find any other parcels. And then there's 2 little pieces of kind of a darker red color, not the beigey orange color, but darker red color. And those are C1, and it could go there as well. But I believe those are all developed as well. So we're just unable to find any other properties where this could go. This property has been kind of in disrepair for a while, and it would fill this void while fixing that property as well. So this is why this map was here. Thank you, Dr. Walker.
You're welcome. Next slide, please. Okay, we're also asking for concurrent parking variance requests. The storage would be 112,825 square feet. The peak, this is important because in the previous meeting, people thought it would be such high traffic in and out of there, and then causing traffic jams in the particular area. We looked at it, and there are 23 total trips, 10 for entry, only 13 for exit. The peak hour, this means the max usage time, would only be 12 customers. Now, Mr. White will speak to this in the succeeding slides, but one of the things that you all asked for some kind of retail. So we've redesigned this to bring retail to this storage facility. And that you will see that slide, that's 1,575 square feet. Because we're asking for that parking variance and because we're adding the retail, we will need an additional 9 spaces. So a total of 21 spaces, 17 traditional parking spaces, 5 loading spaces. So that will fit into what we want to do with the concurrent parking variance request. Next slide, please. This would be the most state-of-the-art anywhere in the state of Georgia, all 159 counties. No one would have a storage facility that encompasses what you see with brick sidings and retail. So Mr. Noble and Mr. White, I would like for you to describe this architectural layout of this incredible building.
Thank you, Dr. Walker. I'll do my best. I'm not an architect, but I'll try to speak to it. You can see the architect has added an interesting mansard roof on the corners that wraps around the projection on the corner to create interest there, and spandrel glass along the entrances and at that corner. He's got some pilasters running down the middle of the building to break up the facade and create interest to the large area. There's gables with faux windows at the top, continuing that mansard roof line all the way down the facility. And then trying to bring a little bit more of a homey or traditional approach to the entrance of insetting them and giving them a little bit more of a traditional architectural look to them. And then, again, some facade bump outs, pilasters with, windows, windows sticking out, some windows inset to create some interest along that facade of the building.
Okay, next slide. And Mr. Noble, would you like to speak to this building since you are the owner?
Yeah, would love to talk about it. So in our last meeting, there was a few comments about another self-storage about 4 or 5 miles away. And I think there were some comments from the community that they liked the way that building looked. So we went and looked at that facility. And so we took a lot of the design elements from that facility and encompassed that into the new design. And if you continue going through the slides, there's different views from the entire, from all angles of the building. And if you could continue to go on the other building that I don't think we've touched on yet, we've actually added a mixed use component to this. So in the south side of the building, we're adding, I think it's roughly 1,500 square feet of retail / restaurant space for the community. So this will truly be right there in that corner. Right there, that's going to be retail or restaurant, so this will really be a true mixed use development. Because that was something that we heard in the last meeting, is that, if we could perhaps have a retail component or a restaurant component, because that's what the community wanted. So we put that in the new site plan when we redesigned the building. And I think there might be, is this the last slide of the renderings?
Yeah, there's one more to conclusion. Go ahead yeah. Okay, that's just another view of the proposed self-storage right here. Next slide. So our conclusion, what we've come to here is low traffic generating use, which is very important. Low impact to the city or county infrastructure, because we're putting in most of our own infrastructure. Recent and future residential development in the area creates a need. I showed you that. With what's coming with 12 new developments, developments within next 12 months, and 2 already up and under 8 have been built out, 2 are currently under development, and more are coming. No other storage facilities within a 3-mile radius. Limited availability of suitable properties. This is the only property he could buy that could fit into what they're asking. Consistent with 2021 comprehensive plan, character area, community, live and work. And the development will meet City of South Fulton self-storage supplemental regulations. This ends the presentation in terms of the occular part. At this time, we'll entertain questions for the engineer and for the owner, Mr. White and Mr. Noble.
And Dr. Walker, if I could add a couple quick things on this conclusion, I just want to reemphasize with regard to, I want to split up the parking variance and then the storage use. The storage use is allowed by the zoning district, but requires a special use permit. But the actual use of it is consistent with the 2021 comprehensive plan character area as being a community live work. And that's why the mixed use was added. And also, City of South Fulton has a special development regulation specifically for self-storage. And we are meeting all of those regulations. We are not asking for any variances or anything like that. The code does have a kind of antiquated parking requirement that would require far in excess as would need to be for this type of facility. In years past, when self-storage was more of a drive-up style facility, you did need more parking spaces because people would drive up and use their units. But with this style that's interior climate controlled, it's just not necessary. And so just want to reemphasize, Mr. Noble has many storage facilities, and he typically needs 2 to 3 loading spaces and 6 or 7 parking spaces. And we do have far in excess of what has been needed on other properties. So we are requesting that variance for the parking, not to circumvent regulations, but just because it's unnecessary, it's not needed by the development. And we feel strongly about preserving the environment and concerns with additional parking that's not necessary and creating additional heat island effect. That's just not, we wouldn't be good stewards if we just put in a bunch of parking that was not needed and would hurt the environment. So I just wanted to point those things out. Thank you.
And right before, thank you, Mr. White. And right before your question, I do want to reiterate that you, the community, had a lot of input, because what we've done is we've gone back and tried to put in everything we could within reason that you requested. So you have some ownership of what you see tonight. That directly came from you. So at this time, we'll pause to you can ask questions about the project. Mr. White, Mr. Ergo, and Mr. No will be glad to answer.
Can you all stop sharing so I can see who is asking a question? Thank you. So the floor is open for questions or comments.
This is Jewel Johnson. I'd like to make a comment. One of the things I say, and I know it's been a lot of input from a lot of the citizens, which I respect a lot of the citizens, and this is a comment directly from me. What I see here is a beautifully dressed up warehouse. That's all I see here. And I've been a part of this community for many years and sat in and worked on a lot of things that we have brought here. So I am not going to go against the things that my community have said that they wanted. Sometimes, you know, we have a need so strong that we kind of like overlook things. So I'm going to give my opinion. This is a beautifully dressed up warehouse. And that's all I want to say about it.
So I have a comment. My name is Alma Hill, and I have a couple of comments and a question. First of all, I don't understand why you correlate new home building with the need for more storage. I don't see people buying $400,000 homes to fill up a storage. They want to fill up their homes. So to say that every home, all of these homes that are going to be developed within the next 12 months, we need this much storage, their furniture is going to go into the home, not into a storage. I also disagree with the comment that we don't have ample storage facilities within the area. We've got them on Welcome All Road, Desert Drive, Cascade Road, off of Thornton Road. I just don't want to see our community become a community of storage areas. You talk about retail and restaurants. The only kind of restaurant that's going to go to a storage facility of that size is a fast food restaurant to serve the local workers. That is not going to be something that is going to attract people like me to leave my home to go to a storage area to pick up a meal. I mean, it might serve the people, but it's not going to serve the community. We want things that are going to help stimulate our economy and improve the quality of life. I haven't heard you talk about the number of jobs that this storage facility is going to create and how it's going to improve the quality of life for people, whether or not they need storage. But again, I think that the math of assuming that every new home, every apartment complex equates a need for X amount of square footage of storage, I don't think that's right. I think that in my subdivision, the renters that move in, they don't even have furniture. You see someone renting a house overnight and they didn't even come with a truck full of furniture. So to, again, assume that more housing, more apartments equates the need for more storage, I don't think is accurate. So that's all I have to say. I don't support this development. It still looks like a dressed up storage building.
Thank you, Ms.
Thank
Hill.
you. Stephanie, and then we will have Ms. Johnson.
Would
Go
you
ahead,
like me to
Stephanie.
respond, or do
Oh.
you want me to wait until the
Yeah,
end and then?
wait until these two
Okay.
have their questions answered. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Debbie. As a resident of the area, what I would like to see is something of value, such as a financial institution or urgent care, some medical facility, or maybe even an office building. You talk about the people that are moving in the area, but we need more things to that that our community wants. And a storage facility, if you need one, you can just go drive to where the nearest one is. So I am not in support.
Thank you, Stephanie. Ms. Johnson?
This is Jewel, but my name is Jewel Coleman.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize.
I didn't have my last name there. I know Miss Jewel Johnson already spoke. I just wanted to actually agree with the ladies that have spoken. We were against this last time, and we still are. Just because it doesn't have a current buyer now doesn't mean we want to settle for anything just because it's available. And there is also a facility on Fulton Industrial. So there's plenty of storage places around. And we don't want that there because we don't want I think it would deter other development, other more quality developments. That's all I have. I don't support it.
You said your name was Ms. Coleman?
Yes.
Thank you for your comments. One of the things that when they came the last time, and I think it was clear that the community, I'm sorry, Ivory, or do you have your hand up?
I do not.
Okay. One of the things that was abundantly clear when it was presented before, that at that particular location, we did not want a storage facility. And we did talk about, we were looking more for a retail space, like a bank or some other type of restaurant, particularly having that type of facility right in front of that daycare. And that's our concern as well. Now, there are storages. My husband and I have a storage for our business, and right there off of Cascade Road. And I'm gonna be quite honest with you. It has changed hands quickly. It has a new owner, and we know for a fact some people live in there. Now, and we, because it's kind of, it's by other businesses right there, and it's not as compact as it would be right on Riverside. That's a tight spot there. But we haven't had any problems, but we have noticed that we feel like some people are living there. And so we had concerns when you all presented before. And it was the overall consensus that we didn't want the storage facility. And you have come back with what you thought would be more improved. But I think based on the comments that everybody continues to say, is that is not a space that we want to put a storage facility on. Now, to say that there isn't another location, I think John Perlman would disagree. He wanted to put a storage facility near the on the backside there, and he did a survey, and we shared that with you guys the last time. And he did a survey of the residents in the area, and the reason why he backed off of it is because the survey came back and nobody wanted the storage there, and it was much further down Riverside Drive. And so I know that the conversation the last time, I think the owner had said something about the variances that you need, you can't put anything else there other than a facility, but a storage facility or something like that. But I think we need to just, because the area is growing so, and yes, we have a lot of development coming in the area, we need to just rethink that corner. And at this point in time, the community does not want to have a storage facility on that corner.
Deborah,
Thank you
can
so
you hear
much.
me?
Go ahead. Go
Can you
ahead,
hear me?
Aubrey. Yes,
Yes.
we can.
Yeah, my comment, I think one of the ladies mentioned it earlier, was something like a bank. When you take this community, we just heard some statistics about the average home price out here. It's unbelievable that this community has to go up to almost up to 285 to get to a bank.
Mhm.
And when you go in certain other communities, you almost find a bank on every other corner. I
Mhm.
don't understand why something like that could not be considered for that area. I mean, I guess you get tired. It's kind of like if you go down Stonewall Hill in that area down there. South Fulton has become known for warehouses. And warehouses tend to limit what else can come. And when that trend starts, it definitely has a negative impact. I would prefer something, if it's possible, if the zoning or whatever land use would support a bank or something like that. That is a need. We don't have that. We don't, and as far as storage facilities, there are quite a number. I don't see anybody out there chomping at the bit saying we need another storage facility. I wish that someone would bring to this community something that the community wants and needs, and not something that somebody wants to develop the land and how way they can develop and make the most money out of it, and the community, be damned. That's my comment. Can you hear me, Deborah?
Yes. Who was
Okay.
that?
That was me finishing. I don't know if you heard all I said or not.
Yes, I
Okay.
did.
Well, I'm
I
done.
was, okay, thank you. Mr. Urkel, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly.
Yes,
You wanted
this
to
is David
answer?
White. Yes,
Oh,
ma'am.
David. Okay, go ahead, David. You wanted to address some of the concerns?
Sure, happy to. Appreciate everyone's feedback. They're valid opinions, and we want to say that. The typical storage facility or unit that gets rented is 100 square feet. The amount that is needed on average per capita is 6 to 7 square feet. So for every person that rents 100 square feet, the average is only 6 square feet. So that's 1 out of 17. So for every one person that wants 100 square feet, there are 17 people that don't need storage or don't want a unit. So it's very common to take a survey and see people that say, I don't need it. And you could come across 18 people and 17 of them don't need it. And then one needs it. And that one happens to be a really large number, to the tune of hundreds of thousands of people within this trade area. So while we can take small samples and say that it's not needed, there still are a lot of people in the community that do need it and rely on it for mobility to help get into the community and out of the community. And in regards to the homes, it's not that the homes specifically need them, but the people living in them. A lot of people with higher home values, they have more disposable income as well, and so they're more likely to be potentially helping parents move, maybe aging parents that may be moving back to be closer with them, and they need to put stuff in storage. They may be business owners, like was spoken out about earlier, where people they're starting a small business and they can't afford to rent a big shop, but they can get started in a value oriented way by renting storage and then moving up to larger sizes when needed. So when there's more disposable income, people have a need. I live in an area where there's nice home prices, and we actually have a storage facility right next door to our neighborhood. There's a 30-foot buffer there, and I wouldn't know that it was there from being at the pool, but when I look on the aerial map, I can see that it is actually next door, and a lot of people in my neighborhood use that all the time, and so there's a large cross section of people that do use and need it, even though there's even more that don't particularly need it. So with regard to banks, and Brad, jump in, and Mr. Noble, tell me if I'm wrong. I believe the seller had spoken to banks, and banks wanted to go here, but they couldn't get access from the main road, and they just couldn't make it work because the access wasn't appropriate. So it's not that the community doesn't need a bank, it's just that a bank won't go there because the access is not sufficient, and banks need to have good access to get people in and get people out. And you made me think when you talked about financial institution, this could be a great place for financial planners or small business owners. Maybe it could be a shared office space so that small business owners getting started could have a place to go and have meetings, and maybe there's a financial planner in that building that works. So maybe it's not necessarily retail, maybe it's more office oriented and shared working space. It really could be whatever the community needs. Retail was just kind of a general name because we don't know specifically who wants to rent it or what they want to do with it. Let me see. I'm just looking over my notes. Bear with me. There's an urgent care around the corner. We talked about banks. So yeah, I think that's all that I have. But just want to reiterate, not discounting the opinions that were shared. They're all very valid opinions. But there are also a lot of other people that do need this product, and that's it. Thank you so much for giving us time to speak.
All righty, Miss.
Deborah, may I ask another question?
Hold on, Ivory. There's Miss Callahan has had her hand up for a while, and then Marilyn, and then you will come back, Miss Denson. So go ahead, Miss Callahan.
Miss Deborah, how you doing? This is Mr. Callahan. Kay's
Mr. I
husband.
see Kay Callahan on the.
That's okay. We're
Okay.
one. We're one together. First, I want to thank Mr. White and his colleague for just chiseling out some time to come and talk to us about this product that he see in our community. But what I would want to say is that I'm in great support of the ladies who spoke on, there are some other things that this community could use. One, like the young lady that came before me, spoke on a bank, a fitness center would be great, some type of community center would be nice. This area, the Camp Creek corridor, Campbellton Road corridor, is prime area. We're right down the street from the airport, and we have great access to really enter any interstate that we want to jump on. So we just need to be wise stewards of who we, secure to bring a product to our area, because all of us are invested in this area. I know I am. I've been here for 18 years now. I'm on Reynolds Road, and I don't plan to go anywhere. And my wife and I, we really want to make sure that we protect our community. And what comes to our community is not only going to bring value to the community, but it's also going to bring value and equity to our property for resale eventually. So that's all I have to say. Again, I thank everyone. And one other thing, I do believe that we need to garner more people to participate on these community Zoom meetings because we're a small sample of what we want to see happen. And we need more people to come on here and voice their opinion. So maybe we can talk about, how can we get more people to come on these community meetings? That's pretty much it.
Deborah, are you still there? I'm not hearing anybody.
I'm sorry. Thank you, Mr. Callahan. Marilyn, it's your turn.
Okay,
Then Ivory, you can go after Marilyn, and then I see Councilwoman Rao has her hand up. So Marilyn, Ivory, and then Councilwoman Rao.
Thank you, Debbie. Can they show that blueprint of the drawings of the storage facility so that we can see it where it sits on the corner and the daycare and all of that? Yeah, that's it right there. My concern is that it sits there and it's in front of the Learning Center. And I don't know how close it would be to the Learning Center. Also, at that corner of Riverside and Camilton Road, that's a very tight area right there. I wish they could put another lane there, another 2 lanes, because even when a 18-wheeler is going to Publix to take food, and that's headed out 166 West, and if they have to make that right turn at the corner, if there's traffic already there that wants to go across, as if you're going to Westlake, or if you want to go 166 going east, tractor trailer can't turn. It's got to wait until all the traffic goes by. So that's a concern for me, that the corner is so tight right there and the storage facility is there. But basically, my main concern are the children down where the facility will be in front of them. And I don't know if that's a good fit. I really don't. Because anybody could go in there. We just had an active shooter type situation yesterday. I don't know. People do all sorts of things now. They hide places and so forth. I'm just concerned because that's a preschool there. And I'm also concerned because of that traffic right there at that little intersection. It's bottled up a lot. And that's my comment.
This is Brad Noble, the developer. Just to touch on your comment there. On this new site plan, and we didn't mention this earlier, the building actually got smaller because if you look right on Riverside Road, we're actually dedicating, I think it's, and David, correct me the square footage, but it's basically almost a quarter of an acre to the city of South Fulton so they can do a potential road widening on Riverside Drive. So that's something that we spoke to with the city. So if this development goes through, that in the future, it would open it up so that road right there that you were talking about would be widened, and it would, help with the traffic congestion and all that. So I just wanted to touch on that.
That's correct, Mr. Noble.
You still got the 3 stories in front of the nursery. And that's a concern of mine, that the children can't be seen.
Yep. Understood. They wouldn't, I guess the building would be shielded from Riverside Drive, but if you look at the south, they would still have, that looks like maybe 1,000 feet of visibility from Campbellton Road right there. So I understand what you're saying from Riverside Drive.
It's a safety issue. And the way it is now on Riverside, there's only one way into the daycare and supposedly one way out of the daycare. And see, that's another problem right there, where you got that, where it says proposed Apple Leaf Lane. That's always been a problem too. And then my other concern is with the apartments and all those things there, when they are filled to capacity, I don't know what the traffic will be like trying to go up and down that road every day.
Right. And what I would touch on is that as far as traffic, the only commercial use that has less traffic than a self-storage is a cell tower. So if you're looking for a use that will not produce any more traffic, self-storage is the best. If there was a bank or, some other type, the traffic count is going to be 10 times more than a self-storage. But I understand your concern on the safety aspect and the traffic and all that.
Mhm. Thank you.
Can I get you all to stop
Deborah,
sharing so I?
Deborah,
Yes, you go ahead, Mayor, Ivory. Go ahead.
yes, yes, my concern is that what we have heard and seen is I feel it may be a solution for a problem that doesn't exist. Now, we know there are about 5 or 6 storage facilities, some within 3 miles and some within about 5 miles, even going over to Fulton Industrial. So my question is there a need? In other words, are the existing storage facilities being utilized to capacity? Because clearly, from those of us who are on the phone on the call tonight, feel that there is not a need. And so, what makes the developer think that that's the ideal thing to put in that parcel of land?
Yeah, and that's a great question, James. If you can put up that 4-mile radius with the showing where the other existing facilities are. So right here, this is our site where the red dot is, and this is a 4-mile radius, and so you can see the closest self-storages are more than 4 miles away from this site. A self-storage is like anything else.
I don't think that is 4 miles from where that is to the one over there on Cascade and is it Kimberly? I don't think so. Either from that over to the ones that are on Fulton Industrial. But go ahead. You're gonna make me go in my car and actually drive to make sure. So when we have another meeting, if we have another meeting, I'll be able to give you the exact mileage distance.
And I would be happy to do another sort of measurement to confirm it all. I think the other comment you had is, are they at capacity? I do a lot of business with CubeSmart and Public Storage and Life Storage, and the CubeSmart is over 95% occupied. The Public Storage is as well, and they had so much demand there that they just recently did an expansion and built a huge expansion on that one to meet the demand.
And this is which one?
Say it again.
Which one did you say that they had to build an addition? Where is this location?
The Public Storage, if you're looking at the screen, the top right, they did expansion in the past year or two because they are at capacity. I do not have the address handy. It's I'm not sure what that road is up there, but it's off Cascade. It's at north of Cascade Road up there by the CubeSmart. I'd be happy to get the address of that one and send it in the group, or James or David, if you guys are in front of your computer. And
is it on Welcome All Road?
No,
I think that's in the city of Atlanta.
Okay.
I think it may be on Fairburn Road in the city of Atlanta.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Brett, this is Harvey Davis. I had one question is, have you done traffic studies to see what is the most safe and efficient way of accessing egress? I guess when I glanced at it, you're off of your entrance and exit are on Riverside too, right?
Yeah, David, can you get to the site plan again, please, or James? Yeah, so this has a existing right in, right out off of Riverside. So we're not suggesting that we add any more curb cuts or anything. So the existing right in for Riverside will remain. And like I said, we're the lowest traffic generator besides a cell tower. When we're leased up, I mean, in our prime times, like we may have 4 people there that are using the facility. So as far as, we do have traffic studies from other sites and other things. I'm happy to share that with the community, but this is the lowest traffic generator that you can possibly put on a site.
Yes, and Mr. Noble, we did have the trip generation report run, an ITE, Institute of Traffic Engineers trip generation report, and that's what showed the peak demand of 12 customers. And that's would be just during the lease up period, but then after it's leased up, then it would be much lower traffic, as you were saying that you experience at your facilities.
Yeah, agreed.
Councilman Rowell, you're up.
Yes, I want to thank all the residents who weighed in on this particular issue. A couple things I do want to share relative to this. There have been previous efforts to try to lease or sell that particular parcel. And as a result of it, and based on feedback I've gotten from tenants at Sandtown Crossing, I requested a traffic study for the Riverside Union Road area. That was completed about a year ago. As a result of that, in the fiscal year 25 budget for the city of South Fulton, if passed as proposed on September 18th, the city will be doing a road widening project to improve traffic flow both on Union Road as well as Riverside Drive. So some of these issues that have been historic issues, we hope to mitigate regardless of what happens with this. The city would be moving forward with traffic improvement along that area. And again, it's in the fiscal year 25 budget for the city. So I think everybody's concerns about traffic flow are valid. They've been so noted, and we have been working on it so much so that, you know, if passed, we'd be doing something in fiscal year 25 to mitigate those issues. In addition, I am working with the Fulton County Commissioner. I spoke with regarding truck traffic on Riverside Drive. Hopefully I'll be able to report more to come, but there is a process based on change in state law that will require coordination between the county and city to do any restriction of trucks on that road. But I also wanted to note that a lot of that development, I saw a lot of names, not all of that is in District 1. So I wanted to point that out in the presentation. I think everybody on this call knows that I'm real adamant that developers have to come through Sandtown. I'm here to listen. And while I may not be providing a whole lot more commentary, I hear you. And I'll just leave it at that.
Thank you, Councilman Rowell. Jewel, I think it's Jewel Coleman. Your hand is up.
Yes, thank you. I just want to make one more comment, and that was do something about small number of people. It's only me here on the call, but I'm representing my whole neighborhood. We went to the planning commission meeting and we thought this was, and then we went to the council meeting and this was deferred. So just because you see this number of people doesn't mean that it's just this small number of people that know about it and are opposed to it. We just keep running from meeting to meeting about the same thing being revisited. So I just wanted to make known that it's not just one person. Well, I'm not one person, I'm a whole neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, are there any? Oh,
yeah, I
go
just want
ahead,
to say, I was just going to say, I know we have a couple other presentations on the call, and I think it would be prudent that we moved on so we can get through it because we're already going to run past our normal time. But thank everybody, the presenters as well as the community for your engagement.
Hey,
yes,
everyone, I really
you.
appreciate the time.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
All righty, we will go on with the community and updates. Councilman Rowell, you're up, and then
I'm gonna take it back
if
downstairs.
Councilman
I had brought it
Gums
up
is
to
on
try
the
to put
line, she can
the
go next
closing.
after that.
Okay. I have a couple of quick updates as our police.
Hold on, Councilman Rowell. Ivory, I think you need to be on mute. Is that you talking? Thank you. Go ahead.
as our police department, we'll have our annual September 11th celebration at the Southwest Arts Center on next Tuesday from 11 to 1. I encourage you to come out and support that event. But I also want to invite you to an event on this coming Sunday at Bethel United Methodist Church. They do an annual first responders celebration at 10 a.m. I just wanted to note that they recognize our first responders at that service. In addition, Councilman Sebastian is having a family fun day at 895 Wilkerson Mill Road, which is at Wilkerson Mill Park. That event is from 1 to 5. I encourage you to come out and bring your families. On September 21st at 1:30 p.m., I will be hosting the second bingo at Sandtown Rec Center. For those who participated, we wound up having to actually turn people away. So it was very well attended. We will be moving that event to the gymnasium this time based on the response. The city held one at Welcome All and it was equally packed out. So we know what it takes to get people out of their houses into a city event. September 28th from 4 to 6, we have Jazz in the Park. This is at Burdette Park. This is hosted by Councilwoman Keosha Bell. Again, a great opportunity to come out and fellowship with residents from across the city. A few things I want to make you aware of today. I had the opportunity to attend a demolition celebration for the executive end on Fulton Industrial Circle. As you know, there's a whole initiative called Renew the District that you can read more about on the Fulton Industrial CID website. We are working very closely with Select Fulton, the Development Authority of Fulton County, and the City of South Fulton to redevelop Fulton Industrial. One of the things, and if you got my mailer, it's probably been about a month and a half back, I highlighted some of these things. You will see demolition of most of the properties that have been blighted and are gated at the I-20 interchange at Fulton Industrial and I-20. We're working hard to focus on redevelopment. We've created as an opportunity zone. So whatever comes to the area, they'll be able to get job credits for bringing jobs to the area. So I'm very excited about what's coming on Fulton Industrial. In addition, if you've been down Fulton Industrial at 5440 Fulton Industrial, where we were before the mode issue, we're doing a renovation of that facility. A number of employees will be back in that building in November. And it will be where the city council will hold its city council meetings and all the various boards. So they're doing some reconfiguring before we go back in. And so stay tuned as our city continues to grow. I think those are the ones I pretty much want to share right now. And I'll just open it up for questions at this time. If you are not receiving my newsletter and you'd like to receive it, please put it in the chat and I'll grab it. I also want to introduce you. I didn't realize I didn't have my video on. Sorry about that. I also want to introduce you to the District 1 Constituent Service Representative. She's been on the call, Lamaya Clinton. She is also a resident of the city. I'm very excited to have her on board. She's hit the ground fast and furious. And so I just want to welcome her. And I'd like, hopefully she can turn on her camera so you can see her. I don't know where the box is on the screen, but look for Lamaya Clinton.
Everyone, I just wanted to say hello, and I am very happy to work for the city of South Fulton and for Councilwoman Rao. She really is the best in our city, and it's been a pleasure being on this call. Thank you.
Thank you, Lamaya.
Thank you and welcome.
I have a question. I can't find my hand though. I'm sorry. I'm not
Go right
raising.
ahead, Miss Hill.
What is happening at Cascade in 285 where they're cutting all the right by the freeway? They've cut down a lot of the
Great question.
greenery or the weeds. I don't know what you call it, but it's on both sides.
Right. So me and Councilwoman Overstreet, who is the city council person for District 11 in the city of South Fulton, have been working in partnership on a number of projects. One was that the city of South Fulton would enhance the medians, which we've already done, and the city of Atlanta put up money to have the exit ramps at Cascade landscaped. And so I'm really excited about that beautification, but it's part of our effort to continue to beautify the Cascade corridor. And while we're at it, you've probably also noticed you have a sidewalk and culvert replacement project, which I included in my mailer, occurring at Fairburn Road. So you see a lot of sidewalk work happening in that Fairburn area, as well as the city council recently approved for a traffic light at Promenade Park, which is at Kimberly and Cascade, to improve the flow and to keep those employees who are coming out of that building safe. So those are some of the things that are occurring along Cascade. And if you haven't had a chance, check out Trammell Crow. We have put a lot of money and effort into beautifying Trammell Crow. It's looking great. We're not done yet, but we have canopies over the workout equipment, new picnic tables, the parking lot has been repaved, tennis courts rebuilt, and also in this fiscal year 25 budget, I requested a soft surface trail with Trammell Crow for those avid walkers at Trammell Crow.
Wonderful. Thank you. Sounds great.
You're welcome.
Linda, you are up.
Okay. Hi. Thanks for letting me talk. So I got a text message from my neighbor, and apparently they're getting ready to build. There's a meeting coming September 18th. They're going to build townhomes at 4960 through 4980 Campbellton Road. It's on about 4.8 acres. Did you guys know anything about that?
I think you're talking about the second phase of at Stonewall. It's got to be a Stonewall to a Campbellton.
No, right by my house, right across the street from, what's that, Dove Road?
Oh, that might be the presentation that's being proposed. So that would require a rezoning, but I think you're hearing a presentation today. That's why I wanted to move things along to so they can present that project.
Well, I just got a new neighbor who would be right next door to it, and he's really against it. I mean, I am too. It's just going to cause too much traffic in this little area. They already fly down this part of Campbellton Road. I can just imagine all these townhomes. And then I want to know if they're renting or they're going to be selling them.
I think in fairness, at least allow them to do a proposal. Yeah. So they're on the agenda. I don't like. I thought weren't they supposed to be on this call?
I don't know who you're talking about. No, the only person
wasn't this Brad Hughes?
No.
Okay.
No. Okay. Not at all.
Well, I know they reached out, and I directed them that they should reach out to Sandtown to present to the community. So whatever it is very much in the early stages. I don't get those notices. So be clear. But I am aware that somebody wants to propose a zoning for that, but they've already been directed to reach out to Sandtown. So
if you're talking on the corner where the roundabout is,
yes,
Linda, then
no,
that person has reached out to us, and we've had an initial meeting, but they are kind of in the preliminary stages, and we gave some feedback, and then once they get it together, then we will have it presented to the community. That is not where you are talking about, I assume.
No, it isn't. So if you're, if you turn, if you turn left on Enon Road, or turn left from Enon Road to Campbellton, you drive past my house. It's about 2 mailboxes from my house. So
we
you know,
haven't heard that, Linda. I'm just gonna. They haven't submitted anything. I know they haven't reached out to me. The only one I know about is the one that Ms. Davis is talking about.
okay.
Yeah.
I think I was trying to pull the picture up that my neighbor sent me. I think they're trying to rezone it. I think it's zoned. Let me see if I can read it. I think it's zoned for agriculture. Let's see.
Well, I think
I don't know.
the process is they have to get
To
with the
come through
city.
us. Yeah.
And once they
Regardless
come
if the-
through, go ahead.
Yeah, even if they're circulating, they haven't initiated anything with us. And I think I have a great working relationship with Sandtown. Anytime somebody brings or proposes anything in this area, I immediately send them to Sandtown. So I haven't heard anything about anything beyond that.
Okay.
Okay, but you can feel free to email it to me and Debbie, but I haven't seen or heard anything about this. And it would
Okay.
require rezoning if it's agriculture anyway. So
Yeah.
I would be looking for your input on that as well, the whole community.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it is rezoning from agriculture to, I guess it's TR or T, maybe townhomes, TH. I couldn't really see
Yeah,
it.
TR, that would be townhomes.
Townhomes, and for, I think it was 42 townhomes. Let's
Well,
see.
let's let it go through the
32.
process. Let's let it go
Okay.
through the process, and once it goes through the process and it get to us, we certainly will bring it to the community. But what we try to do is when these things happen and they go through the process, and like Councilman Rao said, she will come to the association and we will listen, like we have done with this project that Councilman Rao referred to on the corner of Boat Rock. And once they get ready to present to the city and have the project for the city to look at, then we'll bring them on our meeting so the community can see it. And so that's kind of how we do it. So we'll let those folk go through the process, and we will definitely get it to the community at the appropriate time.
Okay, because September 18th at 6 p.m. they have a meeting before the planning commission.
Right.
Yeah.
So let them go through the process.
Okay.
But feel free to go and weigh in your opinion.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
You should still weigh your opinion. But like she said, nothing will come in Sandtown without me directing them over here. I promise you that.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Is Councilman Gums on the line?
Hey, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Brandon Eves here for Councilwoman Gums, District 2, City of South Fulton.
Hello, Brandon.
Hey, good evening, Ms. Deborah. Councilwoman Gums wanted me to apologize on her behalf. She had a prior engagement with the community regarding public safety, so she wouldn't be able to join the call. So she wanted me to send her apologies. But we do have a few updates here in the district. One, we want to provide you all with updates on the Enon Road sidewalks. They are just about complete. They should be looking to be done hopefully by the end of the year. If you haven't driven by Enon Road, please do. The sidewalks look amazing. You can walk the sidewalks even if you're walking to Wolf Creek Amphitheater or walking the Wolf Creek Trail. That's one. Union Road and Butner Road roundabout. That completion date should be done by January 2025. They are just finishing, I think, the intersection for the roundabout. So I think they're doing some water work right now. But they should be completed completely on January 2025. We are continuing to work on our sidewalk enhancement plans. So Councilwoman Guns wanted me to make sure that we stress to the community that we are looking to connect all of our sidewalks in the district. So hopefully with a resolution or possibly some funding in the next fiscal year, she can probably work out some connectivities or some grant funding from the federal government. The Wolf Creek Amphitheater has a few concerts that are going to be provided in the next 3 months. So they do have a few things that's happening. Most of them are going to be local artists. So we encourage everyone to come out to support the local talent that's here in the city of South Fulton. We also have our fire safety training headquarters that will be proposed at Cascade Palmetto. She is looking to have a groundbreaking soon, hopefully by the end of the year. Lastly but not least, Cliftondale Park. We are currently undergoing our parks master plan. So if you haven't gone to Cliftondale Park, please do. You'll see a lot of changes there with the tennis courts, the small what is it? The small walking track, something similar to like what Councilman Rao was proposing for Trimmer Crow. We already have that there. So if you want to check it out to see what it looks like, you can go to Cliftondale Park. Also we'll be revitalizing the community center there as well. So we'll have some new furniture, new foundational structurally foundation that's going to be done there at the old building. And lastly, well, this is last, sorry, September 26th, we will be having a senior health day. So if you guys want to come out to check out what we have at the Wolf Creek Library, we'll have workout by Deshaun Johnson, free mental health and physical health from Fulton County Board of Health, resources available, and a few Medicaid resources available through Centerwell as well. So that is the updates. If you guys have any questions, please let me know. And I'll also send you guys in the chat Councilwoman Gums' newsletter. So if you wish to sign up to her newsletters, if you're not already attached to it, you can do so through there. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Brandon, for that information. Marilyn, Harvey, do you all have anything to add?
No, I'm good at this point.
Just want to say thank you to everyone who attends the meetings. It's very important, continues to be important. Glad to see some of the people that we haven't seen in a while, like Jewel and Doug Crawford. Thank you for your support of this community. And thank you, Councilman Rao. And our dues, again, are $25 for an individual, $40 for a family, and $50 if you are a community organization. And we appreciate all donations. And these donations go to support and pay for our internet services, calling posts, the registration for the Secretary of State, and there's one more thing. The post office box. Can't forget. So thank you very much for your support.
Debbie?
Yes, ma'am.
I wanted to ask Brandon a question, but I was muted, so I just unmuted myself. May I ask him a question, or should I wait till the next meeting?
No, go ahead. He's there.
Okay, my question is, I don't understand how the city of South Fulton is making a decision about spending some monies. When I used to walk in the community, I never, ever saw anybody walking from my house. My house was on a Vanderbilt Road, and I headed south. And I never, ever saw anybody walking out there. And I was the only person. So I'm wondering why. I don't see the justification. Because if people are going to walk in those subdivisions, they're going to walk in those subdivisions. They are not going to be walking out there on Eden Road. I don't understand how these decisions are made. Because here again, that seems to be a solution to a problem that doesn't exist. Now, what we do need is sewage out here. But nobody seems to be talking about that. All
Ms.
of us out here.
Denson,
I think we talked about that a couple of months ago.
yeah.
And
And I will say, we absolutely need to make sure Enid Road is safe. We know just from between the library, Wolf Creek Amphitheater, people walk on those roads at night. It's not safe. We had a
Well, I haven't
fatality.
seen anybody out there at nighttime. They don't walk in the daytime. I don't see them out there at nighttime. But
Yeah, but
and
we
I've been
want
out
to,
here for 30-something years, and I've never seen that.
Ms. Denson, I think we want to encourage a healthy lifestyle. And just because we haven't had it doesn't mean that new residents aren't requesting it. In
I
fact,
would
there's
also
probably,
like to have sewage, and there are people on the street that would like to have sewage, but I don't see anybody moving in that direction.
there is a process, and I think, like we said, we discussed it a couple months ago. In fact, the notices that are going out about precision blasting and boat rock are related to a sewage project that we have coming. If you want sewage, you have to go through Fulton County Public Works Department. David Clark is the point of contact, and you can initiate that process. There are sewer projects going on all across this city. And in addition, as we put these sidewalks in, you also see we're putting in storm drain and that infrastructure. So I just want to share that.
It all relates. All of it relates.
Well, the only thing I know is I have been out here since 1975, and I see things coming, but I don't see anything that's coming where the residents on, Vanderbilt Road are getting any benefits. I do know that we're inundated with the school traffic. If I have an 8 o'clock appointment at one of the Kaiser facilities, I can barely get out my driveway. It's terrible. So to me, there are problems, but there are problems that are not being solved. We talk about a traffic light. That needs to be a traffic light up there at the corner of Vandiver and Enon. Or a policeman needs to be out there. It's terrible. The same
We
thing up
already
in
have money earmarked in the fiscal year 25 budget to deal with Van Diver and Enon Road. Councilwoman Gums has reported on this in the past. We actually have money. If the budget passes on September 18th, the new fiscal year begins October 1st. We absolutely hear you. These things take time. They are big ticket items, so we have to plan for them. We've been planning for them. In addition, as I noted, the traffic study that I talked about at Riverside and Union, that would deal with widen the road in both of those areas. A lot of this stuff, we inherited. If it was me, I never would have put a high school where kids drive on a 2-lane road, but we're going to fix it. And we're also going to put sidewalks. So, and we've been working with school board member Warren. The school district is willing to give us some right of way to make that happen. And we advocated hard to get it in the budget. So we hear you loud and clear. We want to make it safe for everybody.
Well, I would appreciate that because I'll be 81 in about 3 weeks, and I hope I can live a few more years.
Well, with that, it sounds like the issues that many of us are having or have had in the past, the city is trying to address. It may not be as expeditiously as we hope, but the fact that it is being looked at and planned for, that's all we can hope for. And so it is 8:04, and I want to thank everybody for joining the meeting. We've had great discussion, and we will see you on the first Thursday of October. So you all have a great evening.
You do likewise.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
All righty. See y'all later.
Okay, it was good.